budget meeting series. Mona, if we can't hear you, I'm going to make you come up front.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, can you hear me? I will speak very loud.
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council member. Thank you for joining our 2024 budget session. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Awesome. In front of you, you will find a copy of the presentation and also a copy of each fund, the revenue, expenses, and the balance for the fund. So tonight we're going to go through the general fund assumptions. Oh, maybe it's good if I project. Do that. So tonight we're going to go over the general fund. We have some assumption updates, and also we will provide an overview. We're going to touch base on the quickly on all the other funds, and then also what are the next steps. General fund, our sales, so the main sources of revenue for general fund are sales tax, property tax. So sales tax, we expect in 2024, we estimate to have 5.8 million, which is 8% over 2022 actual amounts. And this is also utilizing the trend, 2023 trend we're seeing so far. Property tax, since the county assessor increased our property taxes around 40–50%, we are going with an assumption of 30% increase over 2022, which will put us at 1.6 million. With this big revenue pieces in mind, we expect our general fund revenue to be around 9.8 million, which is a slight decrease over 2022 actuals, 2% to be more exact. And this is because in 2022 actuals, we received $1 million in ARPA, American Rescue Plan grant. So that grant we're not going to receive ever again, unless perhaps we're going through something extreme as COVID. So what are some other assumptions for expenses? We went with health insurance to be around 11% increase over 2023, and dental to be 5% increase over 2023. And this is taking in consideration conversation we had with our health broker, a health insurance broker. They said they've seen increases anywhere from 7.5 to 14, but they don't have the final rates. So for example, Kaiser asked for an increase with a state of 7.5, Blue Cross Blue Shield asked for, or United Healthcare asked for an increase of 14. So based on her assumptions, she thinks 11% should provide us a good amount for the budget. And then for SERSA premium, and we're talking about workers' comp and PNC, we went with 10% increase. We have indication in maybe slightly higher. We're gonna see when we get there. And then the salary, we went down. Last time we had a 10% overall, 5 and 5 COLA and merit increase. We went down to a 7%. And we did that because we've done a survey across Colorado, and this is more in line with what we've seen other municipalities do. So 3% will be COLA and 4% will be merit for a total of 7. But then again, the merit is at the discretion of the manager and how the employee is performing. So when we take in consideration the revenue and the expenses assumptions, our 2024 unrestricted fund balance is 1 million, and this is 10.2%. Our request from you was to be around 12% reserve. So to be there, we need an additional 185,000. We also have, besides the unrestricted balance, we also have restricted fund balance of 2.3 million. The 2 million is the ARPA grants. We receive 1 million each year in 2021 and 2022. And then the 300,000 is the 3% table reserve required by the state. The other funds are all balanced, with the exceptions of Community Development Fund, which has a deficit of 89,000, but we are still working on projects timing and then any other expenses that we may have. What will be, we're still waiting. So in terms of next steps, we're still waiting to see how the sales tax is performing. So far, like I said, we see an increase year over year, 2024 over 2023 of 6-8%, depending on the month, but in average is about 6%. We need to update the health, dental expenses, and also SERSA, property and casualty, and workers' comp. We also need to update some water projects, and we need to have some better estimates on JCP, which is going to be in full speed in 2024, the JCP project. We received some preliminary mill levy, not mill levy estimates, but the new property value. We just received them on Friday, so I still have to work on those to see where we land. But right now, our mill levy is 5.7, the Town of Monument mill levy. And then also, if you ask us to make any changes, we're going to include those changes in the budget. And the next budget session will be on the 18th, which is the next the next town council. Do you have any questions so far? Can I provide any additional clarification on anything?
Yeah, on the mill levy,
Yes.
if we wanted to reduce it, temporary, it would be stated as such that the following year it would go back to the normal set rate. Is that how it works with the new?
So we're gonna calculate based on what the El Paso tax assessor provided us as an estimate. These are not the final numbers. We will receive final numbers in November, but based on the estimates which we receive on Friday, we will calculate where we should land. We cannot go above 5.75, but we can go below. That's my understanding.
I know we can go below and we don't need to ask permission. I just want to know if we do a temporary, does it automatically revert back to the 5.75 the next year?
That's probably going to be a great question for Bob when Bob gets here.
Yes.
So we can definitely ask him that and have you then answer either tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
On that.
So I'd like to follow up on that just for 1 second. If with the way Tabor is, and with the increase in assessed values, so still any excess funds would go back to the citizens?
No,
we debruced
for the next
Okay.
9 years.
We
Well,
debruced.
that's where I was going with.
So since we debruced,
Great.
the citizens voted for us to debruce for 9 years. We're in our second year of debrucing. Any funds above our Tabor limits go towards road repairs. So the citizens voted for any funds over our Tabor limit to go back to road repairs.
Okay, I wasn't sure how long that was on for, which is,
And that was a vote by the citizens.
right. Okay.
You're going to start with your roads.
My roads are okay, thanks.
So,
All right, thank you.
and I'd invite you before we make any decisions like that to make sure you've read the budget, gone through it and seen, and wait till some of these preliminary numbers come in, because some of these numbers, we've seen preliminaries that some of them could go up as high as 50% on our expense side.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mon.
That's all I have for tonight,
Oh,
for
that's it?
you.
We're
Yes.
just question and answer. And I just want to stipulate, I asked Bob about this. Section 10.5 of our charter requires a proposed budget for the ensuing fiscal year to be presented to the town council by September 30th of each year. This presentation that we're making now and the question and answers does meet this requirement for budget presentation required in the town monument charter. I just wanted to get agreement by the entire council that y'all accept this as our draft budget presentation to you, and that this meets the requirements in section 10.5 of our charter.
I have no problem with that.
I don't have a problem with the fact that it's presented. I think there are some questions about, and maybe from an HR perspective, you have some numbers to back this up, but there was a significant jump in salaries, right, between 2020 and 2021,
Mhm.
and a much more significant decrease in 21 over 2022. And it's climbed up about 500,000, 22 over 23, and another 800,000 is what you're budgeting for. I'd
So
like
can
to
I?
understand
Mhm.
why there's such a discrepancy. Did we lose a lot of people between, I mean, I was here through all those periods and don't understand why there's such a
Mhm.
large discrepancy in these numbers.
So I can address actually that question, if you don't mind, Erika. So what happened in 2022, and the reason you see a decrease in salaries is because general fund, and I assume you're referring to general fund.
Well, these are general fund. This doesn't include police, right?
That's exactly what I was about to say. Police department, they had the fund created beginning of 2022 because of the 0.5 sales tax. And this is the reason why you see a decrease from 2021 to 2022, because we carved out our police department and formed the police fund.
Okay, but you still have an $800,000 increase year over year. Is that assuming a 7% increase? with
So I'm
the-
sorry, what year are you referring
So
when
the-
you say the increase?
The proposed 24 is significantly higher than this year. We're wondering why.
Yes, so 2024 versus 2023, the salaries are including an increase of 7%.
Well, 10% of two.
It's
of 2.8
additional.
280,000, not 800,000. You get
But
10%.
also we have an increase in headcount. So some departments may have additional headcounts.
That's a lot of head count.
But that's proposed.
That's
Those are
proposed.
numbers that you have to approve. Those are not guaranteed numbers. Those are requests that directors have made for their departments.
So then when we go through the dream sheet again, that's where
Right.
we pick and choose and everything else. This is, okay,
Exactly.
all right.
Right, but they're asking for 3% COLA, which has been the standard year. Well,
Well, this number is including a head count that
No, I know.
hasn't come before. So
probably 6 to 8 people.
Right.
I'm guessing.
And 20% with, well, 18% with health insurance and potential.
That's
COLA and
that's a
merit.
different line item though.
Oh, it is?
Benefits are a different line. item.
Oh, okay, got it. You're right. Okay.
So they're asking 3% for COLA and 4% for merit. And that would mean that over the last 3 years, they would have gotten 27% increase in salary.
You are
Right.
correct.
Right. Exactly.
And then overtime will also be included in this salaries line. So depending on department, now you have this rate, let's say per hour rate for an employee, and then overtime is also included in salaries.
And over the last 2 years, when we asked for the 10% increases, we were able to show you, based on salary surveys, that we were way behind what other cities were paying. And we weren't at a competitive advantage for our employees. We were losing employees.
Right. So do we have data to support that as if we can deep dive into the budget? Do we have updated salary info from reputable salary sources and attrition numbers for not just the general staff, but also if there's anything in the police department that we need to be made aware of? Because I know we're trying to get that staffed up. And I'd like to understand if we've got data to provide.
We can definitely provide you with that data.
Okay. So really don't, I know you're not prepared to do it now, but maybe we do.
The next one.
Yeah.
Yep, we can definitely do
Now,
that.
Is 2 weeks, or do you need to go into October for that?
I'm gonna look at
I'm
Erica.
fine if you do. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure you have enough time to prepare the data.
So right now, we've put high priority on our police department. Chief and I have worked closely to kind of line out his budget items along with the salary schedule to bring them up to market. We're working with our departments. I believe the 15th of September, all revised job descriptions and salary schedules drafts are due back to HR. And then we're trying to do as much of this as possible in-house before outsourcing to any type of position audit from an outsourced company to come in, because we were so below the market right now in a lot of our positions that we were just trying to get a baseline established, which I feel we have overall right now with the ranges, correct? But I'm happy. I mean, I would be prepared to have that by October. The ranges,
First meeting in October.
yeah. How would-
The drop dead date?
December.
Yeah, it's December 31st.
We usually, we've been getting it approved by that first December meeting.
Actually,
Actually, last meeting in November.
Okay, great.
last meeting in November is when we approved the
That's what
amended
we'll
and
do.
budget.
That's our goal.
No.
this year.
First meeting, in December, so we can
Okay.
count on the 1st of December to wrap it up.
I know that you passed it out earlier, like months ago, but I know that, things change and adjust. I like when you guys give us the schedule of like, budget meetings for the rest of the year. Do you have that?
Yeah, we
Yes,
Sent that out to you.
it was shared in
It hasn't
April.
changed? Nothing?
No.
I had to send it to, update it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good info. I would expect that you may get questions from Councilmember Firido and Kimple.
Sure.
When I see them, I'll make sure that they look through this and
Of
know to
course.
send questions directly to you, copy Mike. And then any answers to those you
Copy
send out to
everybody.
the council.
Yep. And also, just to let you know, I mean, we do this for several council members. If you want to come by and sit down and talk to us, you're welcome to come by and sit down and talk to us.
Right.
To walk through it.
Mr.
Refreshments.
Yes. definitely.
Oh, and I know that I'd send an email out and I knew tonight would be sudden, but I think it'd be really appropriate that if we're going to do workshops that get us here before the 6:30, and the way our meetings are very unpredictable, particularly with the executive sessions, that we could have some meat and cheese or fruit trays to sustain us through the night.
As long as y'all approve that and remember that we did not budget for that this year.
Oh, my Lance.
I'm not going to say that it's a lot of money, but I'm just saying it wasn't budgeted for. And so, but we'll be glad to do that if that's what the will of the council is.
We'll figure that out.
Just
So
need-
will.
Just need a little direction on that.
Okay, we'll take a break until 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
That's all the questions you have.